One happy, beautiful day. It's Pete Cohen here. Thank you so much for joining me for this special live broadcast. We're talking about how you can tap into your superpower so you can be remarkable every single day. They're some of my favorite words: superpowers, remarkable. I love that word. But before we get started, let's let as many people find this broadcast as possible. So what you could do first and foremost is tell me where you are in the world. Where exactly are you? If you're watching this live, press the number 1. And if you're watching this later on, press the number 2. Also, why not let us know where you are in the world right now? There's so many different places you could be. Look who's joining us right now here. Look, Patty Dolbovolsky. Patty was actually here with me in the studio not long ago. We were filming here. I can see. Let us know where you are in the world. Divji, good to see you. We've got Patty in Dallas, Texas. We've got James in Merseyside. Good to see you. Let us know where you are. Tenerife is in the house. Karen, good to see you. Cheers. We will get started in a couple of minutes. Let's just let as many people find the broadcast as possible. Mike Stevenson, who's actually been on the My 365 podcast. Mike is a phenomenal human being. Kirsty Heap, another incredible lady who's just doing the most unbelievable work. We could make this a bit of a speed networking session as well, if you want. Let us know what you do. Let us know what your thing is, what you're passionate about, maybe what you do for a living. What I do for a living is help people live intentionally. I think that intentionality is one of our superpowers, and that's what I'm going to be talking about today. But like I say, before we start, I want to give as many people the opportunity to find the broadcast. We've got Bristol in the house. Kidi, good to see you. I see we've got Australia. We've got a number of different countries being represented around the world. We see what Patty Dolbovolsky does for a living. She helps people draw their future. We've got Cheshire in the house. Thank you so much for being here. I'm excited to share some practical knowledge and wisdom and some fresh ideas with all of you. So if you're ready, just say ready. If you're not ready, then you're not ready. But if you're ready, just let me know, because the more you can get engaged with what I'm about to say, the better. The more you can be active in what I'm saying, the better. And I really want to dive into this whole subject around superpowers. So good. It's great to see lots of people saying they're ready. Thank you so much for being here. I genuinely appreciate all of you. So let's start off by talking about superpowers. If you had a superpower, what do you think it is? Because I think there are many powers that human beings have. And one of the things I've learned in my life is it seems like everyone has what is now known as their onlyness. The only things that only you can do. Nobody else, just you. And that's one of the things I find really fascinating about our ability to identify the things that we really excel at. So what do you think you excel at? So feel free once again to get involved. I can bring up your comments on here. Thank you, James, international online personal trainer, expert muscle stimulation trainer. It's good we can do some networking when we're here as well. So Patty says her superpower is activating. I know she activates people. I've seen firsthand how she activated me and my wife when we watched her TED Talk, Draw Your Future. It was only when we stopped that we looked at life with a fresh pair of eyes. And I think in terms of human beings, here are some generalizations. Human beings don't tend to be particularly good at showcasing their strengths. Human beings seem to struggle at telling everybody what it is they are good at. Human beings are very good at comparing themselves to others. Human beings are very good at thinking that they're not enough. But it's only when we stop, and that's part of what we're going to be talking about today, about stopping, is when we get to look at things differently. So do you think that human beings learn from experience, or do you think human beings learn from reflecting on experience? It's not the experience we learn from, is it? Because when the experience is happening, it's not that often that people have foresight or hindsight when an experience, or nearsight when they're in something. It tends to be, for most people, it's after an event, it's after an experience that we're able to stop and look back and take some learning from what happened. So this is my belief, and let me know if you agree with what I'm saying, that every human being has something, or maybe some things, that only they can do, and no one can do it like them. Now, what I mean by this is, let's say you're a mother or a father or a sister or a brother or a friend to someone. No one can do what you do in the way that only you can do it. Would you agree with that? That there are just some things that no one else can do in the way that you can do it? Just let me know. Give me a yes. Give me a thumbs up if you agree with that. Because we are talking today in this live about how to tap into your superpower so you can be remarkable every single day. And what I'm asking us to do is to first off, start off from the stop. I'm not sure if you can hear that grandfather clock that is running 5 minutes late, that has been in my family since 1900. Because what we're doing is we're just stopping. And I'm asking us to look at ourselves, which is something often we don't really like to do, and to realize, what are the things that only you can do? There's no one else that can do them. So only you can be the best friend. Only you can be the best friend to your best friend. No one else can do that. Only you can be the mother, the father, the daughter. Only you. And you might want to write this word down. It's called onlyness. The onlyness, the only thing that only you can do. Now, I'm sure you're in agreement, because lots of you are saying that. But what else can you do? What is your superpower? From my experience of working with people for a very long time, for over 30 years, what I found is that people all seem to have a skill, or a certain set of skills, that not only are they good at doing them, but they seem to come alive when they do it. I was talking to one of the people I coach today, and she said in this coaching session that one of the things she knows she's really good at doing is helping people move on in their life, helping people make changes in their life. And when she's doing that work, she feels alive. So if we don't recognize the things that we're good at, it's very hard for us to enjoy our lives. I know lots of people in the world end up doing things they think they should do, rather than doing the things which really, really make them come alive. So I made some notes up here. There's a big chalkboard, and I've got some notes in front of me here. I wanted to just take a moment for us to pause and think about the superpowers that we have. I think are our mind, our body. Some people might say their soul, or their spirit. That with this thing that we have, we can do great things. And how many great things have you already done? How many great things have you done with your mind, your body, already in your life? Your mind, your brain, your body. What things have you done? What could you do with what you have? I mean, these are big questions to ask. But here's a question for you. If you're ready for a question, this is the question. Do you think that you've mismanaged yourself in your life? Just say yes if you think at any point you've mismanaged yourself. What I mean by that is, maybe you've reacted in a way and you thought afterwards, oh, I wish I hadn't have done that. Or maybe you've said something and you wish you hadn't said it. maybe you committed to do something, but you didn't actually do it. Thank you. So Mike saying one of his superpowers is holding an audience. Mike, I know that you excel at that, but probably you excel in it because you've practiced doing it. So thank you for these comments. I genuinely appreciate people's honesty, because what we're doing in this live broadcast today is I'm asking you guys just to stop, answer a few questions, and perhaps look at life with a fresh pair of eyes. So the superpowers that we have are delivered through our mind and our body, our mind, our brain, our body. Now, when we look at some superpowers that we all have, how many of us know we have the superpower of being kind? Would you agree? We have the ability to be kind. Is that a superpower, to be kind, to be loving? Is that a superpower? Is it a superpower to listen? Is that truly a superpower to listen? I see Matt Rowden is on this live with us today, and I heard him speaking today about really listening. You know, when you listen intentionally. Are these not superpowers? I really believe that they are, and I think we often miss the mark with the importance of our superpowers. Is not another superpower our ability to choose how we feel? Is not another superpower to choose a life where you're serving other people? Is that not another superpower? Is a superpower that we have our ability to choose, to make choice? I remember hearing so many times one of my mentors, Jim Rohn, talking about what separates us from all other animals is our ability to choose. Our ability to choose what we do, our abilities to choose how we feel, our ability to choose what we do. You know, but what's fascinating about us as human beings is we often choose to do the same things. So I also think a couple more. I'll just give you a couple more superpowers, and then I want to get specific and be really personal with you, if that's okay. And thank you so much for all of you just being here and just speaking and just being you. And thank you for all these wonderful comments that I see coming in. It's so wonderful to see so many awesome people. I think there's a couple more superpowers that I'd like to share with you. So one of them is definitely to serve others, to ask the question, what can I do for you? So with everyone that's watching this right now, whether you're watching this live or whether you're watching this later on, here's a question for you. What can I do for you? How can I help you? Is that not a superpower to ask people that question? I often ask random strangers that question, and it's very interesting, some of the looks that you get. It's a very interesting conversation starter. I think another superpower is for us to finish what we start. That we all have this ability to start something with good intentions, but to finish, to do what we say we're going to do. These are all superpowers. I remember yesterday listening to the audiobook of Wayne Dyer, The Power of Intentions, and he talks about somebody else who he's quoting about we're all born a genius, but living in this modern world, we de-genius ourselves. And I know that's something that Patty Dobovolsky, who's watching this right now in Dallas, Texas, her whole business, her whole thing, her onlyness is about teaching people to up their creative genius. Because if we really think about our superpowers are all built around, I would say, and let me know if you agree, our superpowers around our abilities to create, to come up with an idea and create something, to build something, our ability to grow, our ability to be remarkable, to leave a mark behind. So does this make sense? When we look at us as ourselves as human beings, and we look at this mind, this brain, this body, and what we can do with that, these are gifts. I'd say these are we can do superhuman things. We've already done many superhuman things. Superhuman power of being kind, being loving, serving. Our superpower in our ability to choose what we do. Our superpower in our ability to think greater than we feel. Our superpower in our ability to compound. Wow, this is an incredible superpower, right? Our ability to do something and continue to do something and do it every single day, so that over a period of time, we produce something incredible. The compounding effect, the aggregating effect. But I think, without doubt, one of our superpowers is stopping. That we all have this ability to stop. And recently, I've had the biggest stop of my life. On the 19th of May, my wife passed away. And it was a huge wake-up call. It was the biggest wake-up call of my life. I've had many wake-up calls. But isn't it fascinating, and I don't know how many of you can relate to this in some way, shape, or form, where something difficult or challenging has happened in your life, where through that experience, you now look at life in a completely different way. Just put yes if you agree with that. If that is you, if you can relate to the fact that things have happened to you in your life, and because they happened, everything is completely different. Thank you, Mike. I appreciate you. Look at all these yeses coming in. Look, everyone's saying yes, yes, yes. It's fascinating. And what I want to propose to all of you is that we stop more often. I've got a podcast coming out in the next couple of weeks with my good friend, Dr. Ray Sylvester, when we really dive into that subject of stopping. You know, one of the things I've observed, and this is me being brutally honest with you, is I've stopped. Not completely, because nothing ever completely stops. But through my wife passing away, there's been a lot of grief, a lot of sadness, a lot of soul searching, and a lot of pain. And what I've noticed is a lot of pain in myself, but I've also started to notice that in other people. And I was talking to a friend of mine today, James, and he was talking about that when people are in pain, they want to run away from it. You know, if something hurts. I'm sure you've maybe heard of this expression, that if something hurts, it instructs, that there's some form of instruction there. And what I see is a lot of people are in pain and they avoid the pain rather than stopping and experiencing the pain. Isn't that fascinating just to think about that? That I could easily distract myself from how I'm feeling, or I could acknowledge how I'm feeling. I could allow myself to feel what I'm feeling. But to do it, and this is the key word, and if this is the only word that you take away from today, from this presentation, from this time that we're spending together, is to live your life more intentionally. You know, our business is called My 365, and my, M-I, it stands for My Intentions 365, living intentionally. And what I believe from my experience, and what I am learning more and more, is the power of stopping, of every single day, starting with a stop, rather than going into reacting mode, thinking about where I want to put my focus of attention. Who was it that said, where thoughts go, energy flows? That our energy goes where we put our attention. And this is what I'd like you to think about. If you're up for it. If you're up for it, just say yes. If you're up for it, say yes. You don't even know what up for it is. It could mean a number of different things. My mind is playing tricks on me right now. If you're up for it. If you're up for it, say yes. Thank you very much, John. I appreciate you. You know, you're right, James. COVID was an amazing example of people stopping. But what if we consciously stopped? I really see that this is wonderful to see, and I really appreciate everybody's just honesty around all of this. We're living in a world where right now there's 792 million people who are suffering from mental health issues. 792 million people. There's lots of reasons for that. But I think one of the reasons for that is we live in a world that is driving a lot of people to distraction, constantly on, never actually taking the time to stop. Because I think for a lot of people, when we stop, we face ourselves. We face what's really going on behind the scenes. And for many people, what's going on behind the scenes, for myself, recently, there was a lot of fear for a long time. The situation, the circumstance I found myself in with my wife, there was a lot of anxiety. There was a lot of sadness. There was huge amounts of uncertainty. And that was going on behind the scenes. Yet every day I still looked to start my day with a stop. I still looked every day to have a cold shower, to practice my Wim Hof breathing, to do my exercise. But this is the key. And this is what I'd like you to think about. Where are you putting your intentions? Because unintentionally, I see how most people are creating something they don't want because they're not being intentional enough. And here's the challenge. How many minutes are there in a day? How many minutes? Have a guess. How many minutes are there in a day? Mike, you're spot on there, my friend. Mike, do yourself a favor. Please follow Patty. You two definitely need to connect. You're two of the most incredible human beings I've ever met, and the world will be better with you two connecting. But you're absolutely spot on. Social media is designed for us to take our intention to someone who wants to intentionally get us to do something that we probably don't really need to do. And unless we stop and realize that perhaps a most remarkable life is choosing where you put your intention. Your intention is your aim. Your intention is your focus. This is not goal setting. This is beyond goal setting. And when you are truly intentional, and this is what we teach people how to do, when you're truly intentional, you want resistance. You want difficulty, because it's moving through something that is difficult where you can take that resistance and turn it into a positive energy for your own transformation, to make an impact on this world. So yes, absolutely correct, Rob. 1,440 minutes. That is how much time you have in a 24 hours. Okay, here's the next question for you, Rob. I wasn't going to ask the question about the Ashes, but I know Rob's a big cricket fan, but maybe we'll save that for another day. Thank you for being here, Rob. What is 1% of your day? How much time is 1% of your day? Because this broadcast has been going on for more than 1% of your day. So Patty has just invested 1% of her day to spend her time with me. 1%. 1%. She could be going somewhere else, but she's chosen to be with me. So 1% of your day is 14 minutes and 24 seconds. That's 1%. Is it possible that you could invest 1% of your day into being more intentional? 1%. So let's say you already exercise, which is great if you do that. But what about if you did that with more intention? You focused on it a little bit more. You pushed yourself a little bit harder. What if you were journaling and you already did that? And you decided to be more intentional about that? What if it was spending time with certain people, but you were more intentional? You turned off your phone. You actually gave them your undivided attention. What would the impact be on that? If we really think about what the world is asking us to do, I really believe the world is asking us, nature is asking us to be more intentional, to be more present, What is your superpower? Well, I would like to think that your superpower is to know that you have a future self, that there's a version of you that is in the future that you could chip away at becoming by what you intentionally do every single day. How do we create a better tomorrow? How does Pete Cohen create a better tomorrow? Pete Cohen is more intentional in what he does today. So here's my challenge to you, and feel free to reach out to me, however you choose to do that, whether where are you watching this, guys? Just let me know which platform are you watching this on, because we're live on a number of different platforms, whether it's LinkedIn, Facebook, Twitter. I think we're also live on YouTube. Where could you, as soon as this broadcast ends, where could you be more intentional? Thank you, Zaf. We've got South Africa, we've got Australia, we've got America, we've got the UK, we've got Spain in the house. And I want to take a moment, Kaidi, to thank you for being here. What's your biggest takeaway from what you've just heard? There's Anna Ramsey, who just called me before. And Anna, I will call you straight after this live broadcast. There's so many amazing people here. We're actually looking to put on an event in September. I have one of the greatest functional medicine doctors coming to the UK, Dr. Rakowski. I just want to help as many people be as intentional as possible. I've had the biggest wake-up call in my whole life. Everything is different, and nothing is the same. I am not the same person. And a lot of that has to do with circumstances that were outside of my control. But a lot of it now I have in my control. And I know some of you are fortunate enough to know my wife. My wife's legacy really comes down to 5 words, which all relate to being intentional. So I want you to write these 5 words down. Just get on with it. 5 words. Just those 5 words. Just get on with it. Now, just get on with what? Just get on with it. It being intentional. Where could you put your focus of attention? Understand that human beings are rubbish at multitasking. We have a brain that used to weigh 2 million years ago 1.25 pounds. It now weighs about 3 pounds. With this brain, it has some upgraded software compared to what it had 2 million years ago. It has this simulator. We can come up with ideas. We can create things. But the things that we do best are the things we do intentionally. How deep could you go? Take some time to think about this. I dare you. I challenge you. And feel free to reach out to me and tell me. If you want to do something that we created that's absolutely free, we have a 30-day Kickstart program. I was talking to someone about this today. And what's fascinating about that is we've had probably over 20,000 people sign up to this 30-day program, right? That's amazing, right? Probably way over 20,000. And of those 20,000, less than 3% of people complete it. Now, why is that? Because we can start things with great intentions, but maintaining our intentions, maintaining our focus, especially when things happen that are difficult, is definitely one of our superpowers. So let me just do a quick summary. I was talking about how to tap into your superpower or superpowers so that you can you can live a remarkable life. So I'm saying, what are the superpowers that you have? Maybe take some time and write this down. Write it down on a piece of paper. What are my superpowers? What are the things that only you can do? No one else can do them. What are those things? You know, it might be that you can only be the friend to a particular person because it's only you that has that relationship with that person. Your friends, your family, your mother, your father, whoever it is. What other superpowers you have? Do you have the superpower of being kind? Do you have the superpower of being loving? Do you have the superpower of serving others? Do you have the superpower of choosing how you feel? Do you have the superpower of starting things and finishing them? Do you have the superpower of a genius inside your head that is talking to you, but maybe you haven't been listening to that part of you? But I think our ultimate superpower is our ability to stop and really start to focus on what is really important in our lives and become more intentional about it. And I'm asking you to apply the 1% factor, the 1%, which is 14 minutes and 24 seconds of your day. Where could you be more intentional? Who could you be more intentional with? I would love to know. Like, you wouldn't believe. I feel like I've been given another chance at life, even though it's difficult and challenging. I've got my wife's legacy to fulfill and also my own legacy. So I want to thank you. What is your biggest takeaway? Love you more later. Guys, if you don't know Patty, she is without doubt one of the greatest human beings I have ever met. And I'm delighted to call her my friend. Patty, feel free to put your details in here, or if she's on LinkedIn, just go follow her. Please follow Kirsty Heap if you know people or if you're involved in the world of dyslexia. Again, feel free here just to put up. Let's do a little bit of networking while we're here. John Harrison would love to sign up for your 30-day program. How do I do it? John, just go to my365.me. Just there you go. There. Let us know the legend that is Patty. There you go. Anna Ramsey knows all of Anna Ramsey's future was drawn for her by Patty the other day. Look, Heidi also saying how amazing Patty is. We just tried to see someone who said they were in Norwich. Did I just dream that? Yeah, so you go to my365.me. It's absolutely free. Think of your future self, then chip away at getting it. I talk about this with targets and sales figures daily. It resonates with me so much. I can't believe I didn't think of this. Thank you. John, go through my 30-day program. Anyone that completes it, I'll talk to them. You'll see you can book a call with me. Thank you for doing it. I really appreciate it. It's something I'm extremely proud of. What's your biggest takeaway from what you've heard here today? Bella's joining us from America. Bella, great to see you. You always inspire me. You always inspire me. Biggest takeaway before we say goodbye. I will be back. Guys, what do you think of the studio? Look, what do you think? Hey, it's pretty cool. I can even talk to you with my microphone. There, what do you think? It's looking good, right? Me, I'm in Norwich. It was amazing to have my future self drawn by Patty. Yes, it most definitely was. She drew my future as well. Well, she didn't. I mean, she drew it based on what I was saying. So thank you guys for being here. I'd love to know what your biggest takeaway was. If you feel so that way inclined, feel free to share this broadcast, whatever platform you're watching it on. You never know who might watch this, and on the back of watching it, their whole life might change. Give more. Pete, my biggest takeaway. Keep going, Pete. Thank you so much. I'm going to say goodbye. Thank you for being here once again. I'd love to know what your biggest takeaway was. No worries, Jane. You can watch it from the beginning. Jane is also someone who I've had the pleasure of coaching, and it's completely transformed. If I would have said to Jane, you're going to be a triathlete, doing amazing things, winning, I don't know, 5 years ago, she might have laughed at me, but she has reinvented herself. And I think that's what we can do. But it's only when we do it intentionally. Intention is where that's where the magic is at. So my biggest takeaway is to stop. You know, if it's all very well doing things like journaling and meditating, which a lot of people do, but they do it because maybe other people are doing it. If you do these things intentionally, I promise you, great things can happen. Good night, Rob. Sweet dreams. I would have, Pete. You changed my life. Well, I would say you changed your life. I think maybe I was just a part of that process. Okay. Yes, and onlyness. Heidi, I'm not sure if I pronounced your name correctly, but thank you for being here, guys. Enjoy the rest of your day. I'll be back soon. Happy, intentional day. See you soon.